What's up, guys? Let's talk a little bit about how you store your tackle, whether it be in your boat or you go pond fishing or wherever you store them. Because, guys, understanding how to store your tackle can be really key. It's going to put money in your pocket because your baits are going to last longer and they're going to be more protected. And this is something that you don't hear a lot about. And if you don't pay attention to how your tackle is stored, you're going to end up ruining a lot of baits. So I want to take you guys through some of all the tackle boxes and storage boxes by Spro Lures. I know a lot of you guys saw they came out not too long ago, and if you did not know that they carried them, well, I'm about to give you some tips on which boxes to use for which applications and some extra steps that you can take to make sure that your tackle is stored correctly and your baits last longer. Then that way they'll last throughout the whole year. So Spro Lures makes several different types of tackle boxes. I'm going to go through and show you guys these. One is the Spro 3500. It's a smaller box. It's actually got, it collapses on all three sides. It's got a gasket in it. It's completely waterproof, along with their 3700 series, which is a little bit bigger. And then they've got their 3700 deep, the D for deep storages. And then also, and I'm just going to show you some of them here, but also they have their 3700M series, which is thinner and has a lot less, actually a lot more slots in it, so you can put very small things in it. And you need to be careful about which ones you store in which. And there's two different situations here. First of all, we're all been in a situation where moisture gets in tackle boxes. Now, you know, a lot of them say, hey, they have to be waterproof. They need to in certain situations. You know, waterproof is mainly for a lot of your soft plastics. That's one reason to use the waterproof, the seal with the three enclosures on each side. Most of the time when we get water inside of tackle boxes and you go to rust, most of the time that's because of condensation. You know, you get the fall or the spring, you get those cool nights, and then followed by warm, humid day, and you open up your boat or wherever you take your tackle boxes out and they're cool. It gets introduced to a warm, moist air, and it actually condensates any moisture that's inside of your tackle box. And that just happens. That's just the science behind it. There's not a whole lot you can do about that. But the other reason that you would want, you know, you've got, again, 4 different handles. I'm sorry, I said 3. You got 4 different places on this 3700 right here that really seals it down. You want, of course, always, if you're the type of person that puts soft plastic in boxes, you absolutely want this one because this is going to hold all the moisture inside that your soft plastics need. That way they stay fresh the entire year. The other thing is how you store them. In my particular boat, I actually store my tackle boxes vertical like this, and I stack them vertical. Some people's boat, and actually there are some of my tackle boxes that I do store flat as well. But when you're storing them vertical like this, I know the one thing that we can't stand is, especially with hooks and stuff like that, whenever you store them into these boxes and they're stored vertical like this, all of a sudden you open the box and you've got hooks and weights that are in the wrong compartments. That's why these boxes right here by Spro are incredible. If you notice here, these boxes have actually made slots that fit on either side and perfectly contours the tops of these boxes. So they're super tight. It's getting held by 4 different pressure points. It's got a gasket on it so those baits won't move and you won't find hooks and weights in another compartment when you're running around in a boat and stuff like that. So these are, and then I use a lot of these for my crankbaits and hard baits as well as my soft plastics. And then I actually have a compartment in my boat that I just store tackle flat. And that's where this 3700M right here, which is thinner so you can stack more on top of each other. And it's actually got labels in it as well for you to mark your boxes and stuff like that. Number one key when it comes to moisture and rust, guys, well, there's 2 of them right now. Number one, try to make a conscious effort to make sure that your baits aren't wet when you put them into the tackle box. Because if they're wet, still wet, and you're putting it in the tackle box, you're adding moisture to that box, and they're just going to they're going to rust at some point. Try to make sure they're dry before you do that. And the other thing, every one of my boxes, every one except for the ones that are just soft plastics, I put these little strips in it. Flambeau, I believe these are, makes these strips that you can get. They're very inexpensive. And what these do, you know, it emits a gas and it actually stops corrosion. So it keeps rust from starting inside of your boxes. So these Very, very small investment, but make sure you get you guys think they come in sleeves, they break apart. I put them in all my boxes and compartments, and it stops rust before it ever happens. So, so you can see, like the 3700 series here is probably my most used box right here. As you can see, like I showed you guys earlier, there are tabs that fit each section of this box in every slot to make sure it is completely closed and nothing is shifted. And you'll also notice on this 3700, on this series of boxes, the actual lip of this thing is raised, and you'll notice the tabs stick up above the rails just a little bit, and that box closes on top of them. So that lets you kind of overfill it a little bit, and it still closes really tight. The flip side of having the boxes with like the two little openers on the front of them, a lot of times when your crankbaits, you overfill them or you put anything in it and it's overfilled, it lifts the lid on it, and then it gives baits the ability to get all over the place and get unorganized. But guys, I mean, these boxes right here by Spro, they're going to give you all different shapes and sizes. Gamakatsu also has a whole line of boxes too, including ones with foam slits in it. A lot of guys like to put their treble hooks and stuff like that in those. But just make sure you understand moisture, guys, because moisture, and again, you want watertight for certain situations. You want to use these boxes other than the M's for certain situations. But again, make sure you have these little strips in it. Understand that condensation is just gonna happen. So make sure you're protecting it, and then think about how you're storing the box. If you're a guy who loves to go around and pond fish, you may want to stick to these 3700 and the 3700 Ds, which is the deep ones. Make sure you stick to these because your baits are going to be moving around a lot, and you don't want them changing compartments on you. So this will cause a lot less headache in your life. And guys, you can pick up any of these at your favorite retailer, tackle warehouse, Spro. Go to Spro's website, sprolures.com, and you'll see, they have a description on each and every one of these boxes and what these things can be used for. And then also while you're there, guys, Spro makes an incredible line, different size of split ring pliers, big pliers, small ones. And then also, you can't go anywhere without those Gamakatsu Super 8 scissors as well. But guys, check them out. This is something that needs to be paid attention to, because there was a time where I didn't pay attention to it very much, and I lost a lot of lures due to, rust, and, there's nothing more frustrating than digging in your hook box and finding your hooks are on all different parts of those compartments. So guys, this right here, so make sure, I like a box that closes on at least all three sides. That way everything is kept compact in there, and it's going to limit the amount of moisture. Get those little strips, guys. I promise you guys, it's going to help you save money, and it's going to help your lures last a heck of a lot longer. So guys, check them out, all of them from Spro Lures, and I hope this helps, and I hope everybody is catching more fish in 2021 than they ever have in their life. See you guys soon. Talk to you later.